Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Money, Real Business podcast. I'm Michelle, and today we have Asaf on the show who has just listed his business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Hey Asaf, it's good to have you on the show. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I really want to thank you for making the time to come on today, and I'm looking forward to learning more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of it. So it's an Amazon FBA and e-commerce business in the kitchenware niche created in November 2013. The average revenue for the business is $75,820 per month, and it makes an average of $26,403 per month in net profit. Included in this sale is an Amazon Seller Central account with 8 unique products, a Shopify account, a primary domain with all site content and files, supplier relationships, social media accounts and pages for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, Pinterest, Tumblr, and TikTok, an email list with 4,700 plus subscribers, trademark, wholesale accounts, and a video influencer account. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 59664 to learn more about this business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that we've heard more about the business, let's find out more about the seller. So what can you fill us in on your background in starting and running online businesses?
Okay, so I've started before kind of selling digital products on Amazon. That was kind of the way I got into the online business. And then from there, I heard from colleagues about this, well, that was over 8 years ago, about this model of private label physical products on Amazon, which using FBA, which sounded very interesting for me. And that's kind of when I made the transitions from the digital products to the physical private label brands.
And what was it about the Amazon FBA model that you found so attractive and interesting?
First of all, personally, I like physical products and branding and all this kind of part of that business. And then I just saw the opportunity for higher volumes and building a brand that have a value that you can possibly later sell, and all this kind of stuff together made it interesting.
And so once you decided to start something through Amazon FBA, what made you choose this particular niche?
So it was just kind of the general research that we normally do to start the brands on Amazon. So it was just doing that research and looking for opportunities that kind of tick all the boxes as far as, the criteria for margins, for competition, for all this kind of stuff. And this particular niche and products that we started was looking like a good opportunity at that time.
And I know that your business is primarily earning revenue through Amazon FBA, but you have a few other sales channels that you also work with. Do you mind telling us a bit more about those?
Yes. So the main other channel that we have is a big wholesale account with a big chain in the US. So this is kind of making the main source of revenue outside of Amazon. And this is also provide the biggest growth opportunity. And then we have a couple of other smaller wholesale accounts and our Shopify store that is bringing in some revenue as well. It's mainly that one big wholesale account.
That's great. So when did you start selling through wholesale and on Shopify?
The wholesale, it's about 3 or 4 years ago where we started. It was kind of another online small company that kind of belongs to the big chain. And we started with them, and then we kind of moved to the larger account, kind of selling directly to that chain. So that was about 4 years ago. And then the Shopify, I think, was around the same time, maybe a little bit before.
I'm curious because you had this store for about 8 years at this point, coming up on 9 years
Yes.
this year. And that's a long time to be running something and it's extremely profitable. So why have
Yes.
you decided to sell the business now?
So, yeah, as you mentioned, I've been doing it for a while. And I also have built and sold another brand in that same time period that kind of took a lot also. And I feel like this is a little bit of a time to take a little break and then kind of look at some new opportunities.
Well, that's excellent. Well, I really wish you the best of luck in the future with whatever you decide to start next. So, if
Thank
we're
you.
focusing on this business, what would you say was your biggest win since starting it?
So I think biggest win was first just finding this niche and those products and then creating with a very high quality products, a good brand with a really strong brand recognition. I think that was one of the things we did really well, is building a strong brand and with a really good brand recognitions with good margins and good quality products.
And have you done any product development with your suppliers?
A little bit. Mostly it was kind of around the branding, design, and stuff like that, but not major changes to the products, but a little bit.
That's great. So, on the flip side of the success, though, what would you say was your biggest setback or challenge?
Nothing major. I mean, just the general stuff, like sometimes logistic and inventory challenges, but nothing major. Just the normal stuff. And then just a little bit of the challenges just working with Amazon throughout the years, with some stuff that, happens with Amazon, but nothing major.
And how would you say that you differentiate yourself from your competitors?
So I think mainly is just building a very strong brand with a strong brand recognition and high quality products because it's a very competitive niche with a lot of sellers kind of in that same niche. So it's been mainly building a very strong brand.
And I'm curious, are you using PPC or maybe listings description SEO to drive traffic to your products?
Yes, so all our listings are completely optimized and then our main focus is Amazon advertising.
Well, that's fantastic. So, do you handle your own PPC campaigns and listing optimization work?
No, so all the campaigns are managed by a girl that is managing it full time, and yeah, and I'm kind of just seeing over that and managing her basically.
So, aside from, doing your PPC advertising and really focusing on like your branding and your packaging, are you doing anything else in terms of marketing? I know you've got quite a few social media channels.
Right. So yeah, we're doing a little bit with the social media. We currently don't do much of paid advertising outside of Amazon. So we do work with influencers. So now we're trying to even focus a little bit more on Amazon influencers with the Amazon Live is growing and these options on Amazon. So we're kind of focusing a little bit there and some influencers also outside of Amazon. So that's been a little bit of a focus. We've done a little bit of paid advertising outside of Amazon in the past, but nothing like regular basis. And then we have email list as well that we are using for either promotions or new product launches and stuff like that.
Oh, that's great. So, what would you say are the major opportunities for growth with this business?
So right now, the major opportunity is definitely growing the wholesale account, which we are doing right now. We just recently added another SKU with them, which already would provide this year immediate growth, and then just growing more with them, either by just adding more stores and products. So we're in communication with the buyer from that wholesale account and kind of trying to push that growth. This is providing the largest place of growth. And then other than that, as far as Amazon is growing into other markets, possibly like Europe, Japan, and other Amazon markets, and possibly adding some more wholesale accounts as well. The Shopify store, we don't have a big focus on it. Right now, it's fairly organic, all the sales that are coming through that, but that's also an opportunity to grow that revenue stream.
Yeah, it's really good to see a business that's selling into strength. You've built it up into something that's highly profitable, but there is still plenty of room for growth for someone who's willing to
Yes.
take that on.
Yeah.
If we can turn our focus just for a second to your supply chain, do you mind walking us through what your current supply chain looks like?
Yeah, so it's fairly simple. I mean, most of the inventory is coming from one supplier currently, although we have a couple more in China, and all of them are in China. So we're very lucky to have a really, really good relationship with our supplier, and everything currently is kind of going from China to our forwarder in the US, and then from our forwarder, it's either going to Amazon or to the wholesale account, and then some inventory is being held at the forwarder storage. So this is kind of the general
Okay, and do you normally send your inventory by air or by sea?
by sea.
All right. How long does it usually take you to replenish inventory?
Generally, I would say between 45 to 60 days.
You mentioned that you have a really good relationship with your main supplier. How often are
Yes.
you in contact with your suppliers?
It's a little bit depend on how often we need to put the orders, but it's fairly often. I will say, a couple times a month or something, but it's really depend on the time of the year. Like, for example, in the holidays that we're more in contact, it depends how many orders we have to put in.
Yeah, that's understandable. And having a good relationship with your supplier really does make such a big difference.
Yes.
What are your current inventory limits like at Amazon warehouses? Like, have they been raised or limited in the past year?
So in the past year, they've been limited a little bit, but nothing that prevented us from sending inventory in. And right now, we don't have any limits are enabling us to send inventory. So we're good right now. Last year, there was a little bit of limits, but again, nothing that prevented us from sending inventory in.
And have you had any stock out issues in the past 12 months?
Past 12 months, not as I recall, no.
All right, well, that's great. I wanted to ask what a typical week looks like for you while you're running this business.
So it's mainly kind of managing the people who run everything. So checking in with them. And then aside from that, I'm kind of managing the logistic and inventory. So managing that side and then the growth opportunities and following up on this stuff. But it's mainly just kind of managing the team.
Well, I'm really glad that you mentioned your team because I did want to ask you if you could run us through the team that you have currently in place and what everyone does.
Right. So it's a very small team. We have one girl full time in the Philippines that she's kind of doing all the day to day stuff, whether it's customer service, social media, all the checking all the Amazon listings, and just doing all the day to day marketing stuff outside of Amazon. And then we have another girl that is managing all the Amazon advertising, whether it's in Seller Central or in AMS, and just taking care of all the campaigns. And other than that, it's just the bookkeeper, and then we use like freelancers for whatever stuff we need, whether it's images, videos, and any stuff like that that come up. That we just use freelancers.
All right. And you said that you feel like they would be willing to continue with somebody who bought the business.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
And what do you think is the biggest challenge for a buyer taking over this business?
I think probably it will be logistics, inventory, just make sure not having any stock out issue, stuff like that. And I don't see any other main stuff, maybe some Amazon stuff that can come up, but nothing more than that.
And would you commit to a non compete for a new owner?
Yes.
And how much support are you offering buyers?
I'm happy to provide as much support as necessary for the buyer. Like we have 30-day kind of usual, but behind that, for me, is no problem just to give unlimited support basically as much as necessary.
Excellent. And would you be open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Yes.
So, if you're putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
It's a strong brand with strong brand recognition and which allow us to maintain premium prices, which keep the business very healthy with high margins and with a very great opportunity for growth.
And is there anything else that you'd like to share about the business that we might not have covered?
No, can't think of anything.
Wonderful. Well, I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on and give us a little more insight into both yourself and your business. It has really been a pleasure for me, and I appreciate you doing it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 59664. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.